Kevin Johnson, also known as Coach KJ. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us, man. Listen, we're gonna dive right into it. The last three games for Southern, my God, have been tough. You guys have lost three games in conference play, all by a combined 3 points. And that is just wild when you look at how tough these games have been. And let's go back to last week because I talk about this Bethune-Cookman team and their coach, Reggie Theus, man. This is, to me, when it comes to you and Coach Theus, that's the new rivalry in the SWAC. I can depend and expect a hell of a game every single time Southern and Bethune-Cookman, Coach Kevin Johnson versus Coach Reggie Theus, man. Y'all give us some of the most magical endings to a game. And unfortunately, we were on the bad end of it this time over in Daytona Beach. 70-69, Coach Bethune-Cookman snuck one out on us at home over in Daytona. Walk us towards the end of that game, how things unfolded.
Well, we battled. Very entertaining game, battle, like you said, and I thought when we got in the second half, late in that second half, we finally got that game going in our direction and had a lead, and we didn't finish it off. Poor execution down the stretch, and we had some defensive breakdowns, and sometimes that happens. But no question, a tough ball game, and we came up on the short side. But I tell you, man, our guys are resilient. They turn that around and go right to FAMU in another tough ball game and get on top of it. And that one, we finished the way we need to. But, all over the country, Perry, right now, that's what conference games are. It doesn't matter about what place the team is in. These games are close. And I don't think it'll be any different here today.
No, it's not. You guys get the victory 73-70 and a close one at Florida A&M. And then Thursday night, a heartbreaker. Listen, Coach, I walked away. You guys went on a run at the end. Listen, and it just, that 1 point, once again to Alabama State, the only team to get the sweep on Southern this year, the only team to beat Southern at home this year. And once again, we lost to them in Montgomery by 1 point. We lost to them here in Baton Rouge by 1 point, 66-65. Looking at Bama State and looking at both ways, we've lost to them twice by a combined 2 points. What is it about that Bama State team seems to be with the matchup with us this year?
I don't think it's about Alabama State, to be honest with you. I think it's about us. I know when we got beat in Montgomery, that was probably our worst defensive performance of the year. And then the other night at home, we didn't defend them in the first half. They shot 50% from the field and 50% from three. And I told the guys at halftime, when you give up that kind of efficiency, it's very difficult to win the game. But, again, we battled back in the second half. And, even being down 10 with just over 3 minutes to go, we're able to come back and take that lead. And unfortunately, there was a, questionable call at the end. I've watched it a billion times. I still didn't see a foul. But
you saw what I saw.
Sometimes the ball bounces that way.
You saw what I saw because I was right there as he called it. And I looked at the red. He told me to sit down. I sat down. I didn't want – look, as you say, I didn't want to cause no text or nothing. But I saw what I believe you've been watching a billion times on film. I'm like, hey, you got to let that play through, ref. I mean, I think they called that foul on Noel, Brente Noel, and it was just like, come on, ref. Just let that fall through. That has to just be played out. But nonetheless, Bama State hits both free throws, give us the ball with about a second maybe. Throw it down court. Unfortunately, a 1 point loss to Bama State. Move past that. Got to be heartbreaking. What was that when you talk to your team? What was the locker room like after that one? Was it a reality check time?
I don't know about a reality check. I'm going to tell you what kind of players we have and what kind of young men we have. They know they didn't play their best, but nevertheless, that last foul, Andre Nunley was a secondary defender. And so Brente Noel was the primary, and they called the foul on the secondary defender. So, wasn't real happy about that. But several of the guys text me that night after the game. I give an Derek Tisno, Coach, I wasn't my best. How can I be better next game? Andre Nunley, Coach, don't give up on me. I promise you I'll be better next game. And those two guys are our most experienced players and our leaders. So, I don't want to dwell on what happened there. Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way, and it's all about moving on. And I want to take this time to say this, Perry. You know, this has been a long journey,
Mm-hmm.
and today is the end of the regular season. And you look at coming into this year, we had the 13th toughest schedule in the country. There's 361 Division I schools that play basketball. We had the 13th toughest schedule, and we come through the non-conference in really good shape, which teams in our league don't really do. A lot of our teams don't even win a game until they get to league play, but we get through in really good shape. And think about this. We have led this conference from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of what happens today, we have led from the opening conference game to the end to finish. And so I'm so proud of these guys for what they've accomplished. And, man, I'm looking forward to the next step, but we got to take care of business today.
Senior Day, what seniors are going to play their last home game here at the F.G. Clark Activity Center, affectionately known as the Mini Dome?
Well, we have 5 seniors, but there's only 2 of them that have exhausted their eligibility after this year. Derek Tizineau from Melville, Louisiana. I've been knowing Derek since he's been in the 9th grade and watched him play throughout high school, and was very fortunate to get him out of the portal when I took this job. So we're going to miss him. I want him to go out with a bang. And then the other senior that won't have any more eligibility is Andre Nunley, who has been a defensive catalyst for us this year, number 9. He's not very tall in stature, but his heart is a million miles wide. And, boy, we're going to miss those 2 guys. But I'd love to see them go out with a bang.
Man, you are creating something special with the culture that you have at Southern. Let's look at the standings as we end the regular season today with Alabama A&M, who's going to be today's opponent. Mississippi Valley at the bottom of the conference, 1-16 above them. Pine Bluff 3-14 in conference play. Prairie View 4-13 in conference play. Alabama A&M, who's today's opponent, 6-11 in conference play. Grambling 7-10 in conference play. Alcorn State 10-7, along tied with Florida A&M. Then you have 2 teams at Alabama State and Texas Southern, both tied at 11-6 in conference play. Bethune-Cookman 12-5, Jackson State 13-4, Southern University at the top of the ladder at 14-3. Once again, those 3 losses, ladies and gentlemen, all by a combined 3 points. 2 to Alabama State, once to Bethune-Cookman. As you guys get ready, Coach, for SWAC Tournament, it's going to be big next week. Like we said, anybody can get beat any given night in this league. And you got a whole list of teams right now, starting with Alcorn all the way up, that can give anybody a run for their money in this conference.
You got about 6 or 7 teams that could win this tournament. And, that's why we play the regular season and fight so hard, because we want the best seeding. And a lot of times what it comes down to this year is, who's fresh and, who gets the most rest. And I think we've been fortunate this year to be able to platoon sub to kind of save some guys. And boy, I was happy in practice yesterday. We lose a tough 1-point ball game, but our guys seem to have fresh legs. And I told the staff, I said, man, that's powerful, because you don't have a lot of teams that have that this time of year.
You looking at Bethune-Cookman, Jackson State, Texas Southern, Bama State, Florida A&M, Alcorn. I mean, all of these teams, this is some of the best basketball I think I've seen in the SWAC in quite some time, where you normally see 1 or 2 teams who kind of dominate the league, and then it's kind of everybody else falling into that far second place. But this year, there is no far second place. You got to be ready to play each and every night when it comes to the SWAC. The overall basketball has improved.
There is no doubt about it. And, look at every program, the quality of the coaching in this league. I mean, you have to prepare every night in this league. And then look at the talent level. There's guys in this league that are going to have some opportunities to play after college, and that's what you want. But I don't look at the SWAC. A lot of folks out there say you're in a low major league, you're in a 1-bid league. Look, let me tell you something. This is a mid-major league to the fullest, and I'll argue anybody with that.
I'm looking at it out there. How do you get your team prepared just mentally for next week? Because do you break it into seasons? Like, okay, here we go, whole nother season next week.
You know what? We're going to talk about it, but Perry, my philosophy is we take one game at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked about the tournament with our staff in terms of planning because we need some logistics. Got to have hotel, got to have travel, things like that. But with the players, it's one game at a time. And so the only thing we talked about yesterday was today's game. And so once we get through today, then we'll talk about our plans for the tournament.
Well, Coach, good luck to you guys, not only today, but I'm looking ahead for next week over in Atlanta. And I know you guys are going to come in, man, and the culture and what you've created at Southern. Congratulations to you guys and the success that you've had this season and continue to push forward with, man. All the best. I'll be there today, as you say, giving the refs hell, Coach.
Give them hell. Thanks, Perry. Have a good one. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Coach Johnson. That's the voice of Coach Kevin Johnson.